Hi and welcome down to the Belfry. We are on the Brabazon course today. This is the 13th hole. My name is Chris Ryan, and in this video we're going to give you 3 things that you need to do to make sure you get your ball out when you are in a thick lie, and believe me, that is a thick lie in the rough. So just before we go through that, in the corner of the screen you should have the details for my social media accounts, so if you don't already, then please make sure you go ahead and you follow me on those. So during a round of golf you are bound to find yourself in the rough, and sometimes the ball sits right down to the bottom of the grass as it's doing now, and we need to make a few changes in our technique, which are going to make a few changes to the impact in order to extract that ball as best we can. So there are 3 things I really want you to do, starting with point number 1, which is to take more club. So the distance I've got here would be, for me, perhaps about an 8-iron distance. I have selected my 7-iron, so I've taken 1 club more. Now there's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, the ball is sat in thick rough, so there is very, very little chance of me making contact with the ball without there being some grass between the golf ball and the club face. There will be some grass trapped between those two. That's going to take speed out of the golf ball, so the ball won't come off the club face quite as quick. The second thing would be, whatever I do, my golf club is going to have to go through quite a bit of this grass before it reaches the golf ball. Therefore, by the time it reaches the golf ball, it's going to have a little bit less speed than it would normally. So the fact that my club will have less speed at impact, couple that with the fact that there's going to be some grass between the club face and ball, it means I'm not going to get the distance I normally would from my golf club. So I need to take 1 extra club. So that's the first thing. Now the second thing would be, we want to try and steepen the approach to the golf ball. So that means we would like the golf club to come on a slightly steeper approach into the ball. That's going to do two things. Firstly, it's going to mean that I don't have to go through as much of this grass. If I take my setup here, and I'm going to make this exaggerated, but let's make this just to highlight the point. If I played that ball very much on the front of my stance, which would create a shallow approach, my golf club will probably enter the rough about here. So it's a good sort of 8 to 10 inches before the golf ball. Therefore, by the time my club reaches the ball, those things that we spoke about a moment ago are going to be heightened. There's going to be more grass between the club and the ball. My club will reduce in speed more by the time it gets to the ball. So we really want to try and avoid those 2 things happening. We can't avoid them fully, but we can certainly reduce how much effect they have on the shot. So this is what I would like you to do. From your normal starting position, I want you to play the ball further back in your stance. So I've got this almost 2 to 3 inches inside my back heel, so quite extreme back, but we're talking in this video about extreme rough. We're not talking about just normal fairway, normal rough just off the side of the fairway. We're talking about when the ball really sits down. So I've got this ball quite a long way back. I want to make sure, however, that I leave my hands where they would be normally. By doing that, I have started to play the golf shot here, or setup, with more lean in the shaft. That's really going to help me to get slightly steeper. The other thing I want you to be aware of is where your sternum is relative to the ball. You'll notice that my sternum is in front of the golf ball. That's really, really important. I'll often see golfers move the ball back in the stance, but then they'll start to sort of shift this way as well. So my sternum is now over the ball. I haven't really changed anything. By moving the ball back and my body back, the relationship is effectively the same. So we're really trying to move the ball back and only the ball back. Therefore, the club head will sit behind the ball, but my sternum is forward, my hands are forward, and those 2 things are going to mean that my golf club will be much, much steeper into the back of the ball. It's also going to mean that I de-loft the golf club a little bit, and that's going to help me achieve a little bit more distance, because the things that we spoke about at the start are going to take distance off. So steepening the approach is going to give me a little bit more distance from this lie. What you will often find is you hit shots from here and you can't advance it much more than 80, 100 yards because it's so thick. What the changes we're going through today are going to do is help you achieve a little bit more distance from this position. So, just the last thing to note with this steeper approach, I don't want you to therefore get behind the ball in the backswing. I want you to feel that you keep your sternum in front of that ball as you turn back, and therefore it's going to be steeper into the back of the ball. Just make sure that you have sort of told yourself it's going to be steeper. I often see golfers set themselves up in this position, which is quite good. But because the golf club comes in steeper, it's a feeling which is not particularly normal, and they'll often sort of get to here and then sort of back up because they think the golf club's going to go into the ground. It is going to go into the ground. That is exactly what we're trying to do. So make sure you're not sort of counteracting that by pulling away, shifting your weight onto your back foot as you come through to impact. The final point and this is point number 3, is just to manage your expectations. I'm not going to get the ball as close, and there is certainly a very, very good chance that the ball will come out left of where I aim. What often happens in these situations is that the grass grabs the hosel of the golf club, the toe starts to pass the heel, and the club face often points left of where we're trying to go. So therefore, I'd have to factor that in when I was playing this shot. So for example, if there was a danger left of the green, or there was a water hazard or a bunker, I don't really want to be going at the middle of the green because, as I say, there's a good chance of it going left. I would like to aim this shot more to the right-hand side of the green, certainly sort of right half, maybe even just right off the green, because the ball is probably going to come out a little bit left. We're also not going to generate as much height, and we're not going to generate as much spin. So the ball flight will be flatter and it will have more rollout when it lands. Again, we need to factor this in. So we can't expect the same ball flight that we would from the fairway, and we can't expect the same distance. As long as we understand that and we can factor those into our decision making, we should be okay, as long as we do those other first 2 things. Right, so more club, slightly steeper, manage your expectations, and hopefully we can get a shot which is functional. It's not going to be the prettiest shot from here because the lie is poor, but hopefully we can get something which gets us back into play around by the green. So let's have a go. Okay, and I'll be certainly very, very happy with that. Certainly the flight was not what I would expect for a 7-iron. It came out a lot lower, which is what we'd expect. You can see the divot, it was much steeper, and that ball's actually just made it onto the back of the green there. So from that situation, I would be extremely happy. So as long as we understand how we can change the impact with our setup, we can make the best of this situation, and hopefully it's not going to cost you a shot when you do find yourself in these poor lies just off the fairway. Hopefully that video is helpful to you. If it is, please click the like button. That really does help me. There's a comments box down below, so if you do have any comments, post them there and I'll do my best to respond to as many as I can. And lastly, if you don't already, then please subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely free. There's loads more videos over on my channel, and there's more being uploaded weekly. So clicking the link in the description down below will take you where you can subscribe, and it means you won't miss any of those videos. Thank you again for watching, and hopefully we'll see you back here again soon.